August 24, 2016. Guys, the models have changed, and it's not good for the upper Gulf Coast. Now, they've changed each day, but each day that the storms get closer, they narrow this thing down. But there's been a very large change from last night until this morning. These are the 10 o'clock updates. But what's happening is the front storm, Invest 99, as it's still called now, but it will probably be a tropical depression soon. Notice on the 27th, that circle is off the coast of southern Florida, guys. Now, what that is telling you is that it's almost too late to do a whole lot because part of it was on land. Now, this is only showing what they think may be the amount of rain within a 6-hour period and the sea level pressures. But the storm's coming over very warm water, and it's starting to get that rotation built into it. But, guys, by the 30th, this thing has hit the mouth of the Mississippi River, rakes up across New Orleans, Lake Pontchartrain, and straight up through the center of Mississippi. Almost a identical path as Katrina, and it devastated us here. I was 120 miles inland, and we had no power or water for 2 weeks. Couldn't buy food or gas or anything like that without electricity. But there is a close-up of it. Remember, the first shot, guys, on the 27th, just the center was offshore of Florida. Now, we don't know how strong it will get, but I can tell you this. It's going into warmer water very quickly. These are the new models. Now, notice the purple line. That's the Canadian group. And if you remember yesterday, that purple line went up the East Coast. Yesterday morning, it went along the coast. By yesterday afternoon, that had went out all the way up the coast, but offshore. But everything has changed now by probably 300 to 400 miles further west. It's strange tracking these things, but you just have to narrow it down almost by the hour sometimes. They will change 2 or 3 times a day. That's why you have to watch it. And the reason I do, guys, is I've been in hurricanes since 1960s. Okay, I've way before there was any man-made interference, and they were devastating then. And guys, way before anything like HARP, I think it was 1935, the Florida Keys hurricane. They didn't name them then. Devastated. There was no HARP. It doesn't take that to have these type storms. I know there is. I know HARP exists. I know that kind of technology exists. These storms existed way before that. But the front storm, that's what we're watching. It's a 60% chance formation within 48 hours of cyclone formation. You can pause this and read it. It gives you where it's at. It's talking about the system still appears to lack a well-defined circulation. Now, guys, that was at 8 o'clock. But I'm going to show you radar since then, and you can see it starting to tighten up. It already had started that process last night. And if you remember, the Invest 99 had almost 2 circulation patterns within it. And I said then that top section would probably catch the shear and leave the bottom section to be the engine. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. In the back, you can see Gaston rapidly developing into a hurricane. That is still supposed to track into the Atlantic up and back towards the United Kingdom. Here is Invest 99. You're starting to see a better rotation. It's very tight. This, exactly what we talked about last night is that top sheared away. And now the center, it will be able to take in all that moisture of that lower circulation. And that's what we're seeing right there, guys. And it's not that much smaller than Gaston behind it. It's going over the islands, but the track shows it a northerly pattern. And what that would do is keep it from being torn apart by the mountains on the island. Some of them are high, and they will shred these hurricanes. But again, I've seen them shred them, drop right back out into the warm water, and pick up energy. We'll look at the temperatures in both the Caribbean and the Gulf before the end of the video. But Gaston is spinning very well-defined eye. I'm sure probably by now it is at 74 miles an hour. But you've got storms still coming off the African coast. Notice Gaston is starting to take that northern turn in the last few frames. That's what they were talking about. The behind that, we'll just have to wait and see. But looking Now, this is around the coast of Florida. It's called Coastal Florida Sea Temps. It's buoy data. 82 and 83 at Fort Pierce on this side where the storm is predicted to come across. Look at the 89 in Clearwater Beach, guys. 7-degree jump in temperature when it reemerges. And it stays warm. It even gets warmer than that. Beach temperatures at shallow depths near Pensacola's, they're reading 90 degrees. Very hot. You can tell it's just almost as warm as the air. It's not much of a cooling effect in the water this time of the year. But what will happen is if the storm comes in, for you guys that remember Ivan and Katrina, and most everyone should remember those, is that it was very hot. It came in, it knocked out power, and there was no electricity in some places for a month or more. In the heavy, devastated areas on the coast, some places still had never rebuilt. You drive the Highway 90 on the beautiful Mississippi Gulf Coast, and much of it is still gone from Katrina, guys. It was amazing. And then Ivan wiped out over where my boat is in the Perdido area. There's way more happened there than mainstream news talked about. A lot of bodies were never identified. But my point is, when it comes through, we're going to still be very hot. It'll be cool that day of the hurricane. I remember that. The winds were so high. But after it went through, the humidity shot up because of all the Gulf moisture, and it was almost unbearable with the time of the year, with the heat. No electricity. My granddaughter had just been born, and if it wasn't for a couple solar panels, I'd have had trouble keeping her cool. It was that hot, so prepare for that. Don't get caught off guard is the main point here. That's when we're watching it. It's going to change a little each day, but I've said it from the beginning, as it gets into these warm waters, that the game can change very quickly. It's a heads up. Be safe.